Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Cooking with Natan. Today we're going to make shakshuka. I told you it was coming and here it be. So shakshuka is a North African anytime food really. It's good for breakfast, good for lunch, good for dinner. And it's basically a nice fresh tomato sauce with eggs poached in it, and that's about it. You can add cheese if you want, you can add meat if you want. The basic recipe is parve, so any kosher concerns, just go to whatever you want to add into it. So we're going to start off with a few basic ingredients. We've got our tomatoes. In this case, they're romas, and they're cubed to about 1 centimeter. And for one 8-inch pan of shakshuka, I usually use about 4 or 5 tomatoes. Use whatever you've got on hand. We're gonna use some more of our olive oil made with extra virgins. We've got some green onions, not necessary, but I like it. We've got garlic already minced. We've got cinnamon, or as everybody else says it, cinnamon, turmeric, and cumin. And actually, you know what, today I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to use some fresh cumin seeds, and I'll show you how that's done. We're going to roast the cumin seeds, or toast them rather. And this is what they look like. Just little tiny seeds. We're going to use a dry pan, and we're going to put a few seeds in. And on high heat, we're going to let it sit for a minute. Make sure they don't burn. And as soon as you smell some aroma starting to rise from it, then it's done. So just a few seconds there. Put it in the mortar and pestle, the little one, unlike the huge one that I did for the hummus. We have the burner on already. We'll go ahead and turn the other burner on here because I'm making 2 shakshukas this morning. And we're going to put about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of oil in it. I'm using olive oil this morning. Sunflower oil works really well too. We're going to let that oil heat up over medium heat so we don't burn it. And we're going to go ahead and grind away at our toasted cumin seeds. Now, it's not necessary to toast the cumin seeds. You can just use ground cumin. But the toasted seeds gives it kind of a nice little added kick of flavor, and you know, you can play around with it and do whatever you want. I'm not gonna judge you for it. So we're gonna take a little bit of our garlic, however much you want. Remember, food without garlic is like beer without alcohol, or life without laughter. You can live it, but why would you want to? We're gonna take our green onions and put them in as well. And this is a very, very easy recipe to make. When you go from scratch, cutting up all the ingredients, it should take no more than about 20 minutes. And we'll just let that simmer there for a minute. And we'll grab any kind of spoon that you have. I like wooden spoons, or bamboo in this case. And a spatula, as you can see, not a spoon, but whatever. I'm still figuring out what words are anyway. So we'll take our tomatoes and drop them right into the hot oil with the onion and the garlic. Now make sure that you have a lid on hand, because if you drop too much water in, you know what ends up happening there. And you know, it's not Hanukkah anymore, so we can't really have the miracle of the lights and burn down the house and be okay. Okay, all of our tomatoes are in. Go ahead and stir it up a little bit, because if you let the garlic and the onion stay on the bottom for too long, then it will end up scorching. It's okay, but it's kind of a different flavor, and a lot of people don't really like that too much. So, leave it on medium heat. Let it sit there and simmer a little bit. Take some ground turmeric and put about, I don't know, a teaspoon, a tablespoon. You play around with it and figure out what you like. Like I said before, recipes are great in some respects, but really you just gotta kind of cook for your own taste buds. We're gonna take just a little bit of sugar, just regular sugar. Give it a little bit of sweetness. And our cinnamon, we're gonna put just a dash in it. The cinnamon gives a nice, I don't know, a nice little spicy bite to it. And we're gonna take our kosher salt and put about yay much, which is about half a teaspoon. All right, now stir all of that around. Oh, our toasted cumin. Make sure it's ground up pretty well. And put some of that in there. And that's going to be, as the Hawaiians say, the kain ono brada. For any of you who aren't surfers out there, da kain is like, it's like saying, whoa, it's the best. And ono is, it's ta'im, it's tasty. So get it cooking up. Now as it cooks, go ahead and take the back of your spatula or your spoon and just kind of smush away at the tomatoes. They're going to cook pretty quickly, so keep an eye on it so they don't burn. You might have to turn down the heat a little bit, but because of the oil that we put in earlier, it does separate the tomatoes from the pan, from the heat, a little bit more, and so it allows them to just kind of sauce away. Now if you like, you can also make a really good pasta sauce this way. In about 10 minutes, just put it over some fresh pasta, and it's quite bellissima. You might want to put different spices in it, you know, like Oregon spice, and sorry, oregano. I'm just being weird, because that's what I do. All right. You can see, whoop. You can see the consistency that everything has gotten to here. And now we're gonna turn down the heat to low, because we're about to put in our eggs. Now, do yourself a favor. Just go ahead and buy good eggs. It costs about $5 for a dozen free-range, organic, humanely raised eggs. And, you know, really when you think about it, you get, I think it's 8 grams of protein per egg. I mean, this is like nature's perfect little nutritional packet right here. And your body supposedly only absorbs enough as much cholesterol as 2 eggs has. So if you're worried about cholesterol, then anything over 2 eggs just gets expelled. This is what I've heard, at least. So buy yourself some good eggs, and you'll notice the difference. When you crack it open, it'll be a nice bright orange instead of that anemic yellow look of most eggs. And you know, when you think about it, yeah, $5 seems like a lot of money for a dozen eggs. But if you eat 2 eggs each morning, that dozen eggs is your breakfast for almost the entire week. And how many times do you go out and spend $5 on a coffee? So do yourself a favor, do the chickens a favor, do humanity a favor, and show them that there is a difference, and there And there is a reason to maybe spend just a little bit more on our food. Turn it down to low and then crack your eggs right into the top of it. Now if your sauce is a little bit thicker, which sometimes ends up happening, you can add a little bit of water. I've found that it's better for it to be just a little bit runny. If it's a thicker sauce, however, if you use less oil at the beginning, then you can actually use the shell and you can make a little indentation, and then you crack your egg into that, and that works out nicely. Alright, now we're poaching these eggs, so we're gonna put a lid on it, because if you liked it, then you should have put a lid on it. If you liked it, then you should have put a lid on it. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. We're gonna just watch these little guys cooking away. Alright, so that's boring. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about eggs. Now, a lot of people think that that farm fresh eggs are, maybe they're gonna be fertilized and then they're gonna have a baby chicken in it. Not necessarily so. Most commercial egg operations, they don't have roosters around. And a rooster is the only way that you're gonna get a fertilized egg, just like in humans. Chickens lay eggs about 1 every 28 hours. And they don't need to have a rooster around to do it. Just like a woman doesn't need to have a rooster around to have her eggs come out every month. So don't worry about that. If you're really concerned about it, you can. If you're really concerned about blood in the egg, then you can of course crack it into a little bowl first and check it for blood spots. And it's a really interesting little thing about that. The Ashkenazim say that if you're going to be boiling eggs, to boil an odd number of eggs. Why an odd number? Because they say the chances are any 2 eggs are not going to have a blood spot. I don't know. It's backwards logic to me. Harav Obadiah Yosef, the Sephardic chief rabbi of Israel, who passed away a year ago, Zichron Lebracha, he paskened that egg blood is not blood, but that one should go ahead, because eggs are cheap, he said. If you get one with an egg spot in it, just go ahead and throw it away. Otherwise, he said, you could just pick it out with a corner of the shell or with a fork or with your finger or whatnot. I personally don't like the idea of wasting food, so sorry, Harav Yosef. I'm not going to just throw an egg out. I'm going to pick the blood spot out. So we've got these guys a-cooking, and show you what they look like. Just like that. We're going to turn off the heat and let them sit there and simmer in the heat that they already have, because otherwise the eggs will set up too much and too quickly. And you can see I kind of ended up making a little bit of a mess here on my stove because this lid doesn't fit quite properly. If you're worried about that, well, get a lid that works right. But this is really one of everybody that I've made this dish for that they've never had it before. They end up eating it and they can't believe what it is that they've been missing, and they can't believe that they had never heard of shakshuka before, or they never made it themselves, because if they did hear about it. And the finishing touch for shakshuka, I'm going to take za'atar. You know me, I like za'atar in just about everything. It's sumac. It's a really